welcome back to Spec. Today we have the continuation of our Redemptor in the Warhammer Conquest issue number 25. Man, I've been waiting to get my hands on this. This is just beautiful. But also, this does something else. It confirms a leak. But before that, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscription. We're almost at the 300 and it would be nice to see that number, just so I could do another giveaway. The model is on the side. But let's get on with the magazine. Okay, so where do I start? Let's have a look. So as I figured out, there would be no build information in this one. So we've got our usual sections there, our history and information. I mean, the lore's always good fun. Painting, this is important, as we missed that last time. And we have our how to play it and getting to play with a Dreadnought, the Redemptor on the table is going to be great. So for the new guys, if you haven't seen Redemptors before, they come in a variety of different patterns and it's just like continuing. But I mean, this is one of my favorite designs of Dreadnoughts, which is a Contemptor. And I remember first seeing this in like I think it's like Betrayal of Calth box set, which is like a game that you can use the models for Warhammer 40k, and it was just like a self-contained game, but it was beautiful. It's just, I mean, look at it. It looks great. It gives you a lovely bit of info there. But anyway, let's move on. Don't want to keep you guys waiting. So Ironclad Dreadnoughts, these guys are tough as all nails, and with that new rule for the bolt of fire, they're going to be even more valuable on the tabletop. And that's talking from a point of playing the Warhammer 40k game. But if you're out and about and you see one of these, you should buy one. So continuing, we're going to have a breakdown of the weapons there. A lovely piece of artwork. I mean, every single time I see a Dreadnought, you just think of like raw power, them stomping up the board like almost like a walking tank. Yeah, a tank on legs. You know, similar to Ed 209 from RoboCop, but way more cooler. Alright, so let's have a look at the weapons systems here. So continuing, they're looking at assault cannons, melters, multi-melters, twin-link las cannons, very powerful, heavy plasma, etc. Oh, what's this? Okay. So the Disciples of Decay. Right, okay. What they're showing you here is, if you've been playing this for a little while now, you might have heard from people or read the previous lore about corrupted people which have joined the ranks of Chaos, which have come from the Imperium of Man. So like they're kind of given up the Emperor, or given up on the Emperor and taken a different path, and they could be very selfish or very gluttonous or just very violent, you know, pretty much matching up to deadly sins. But what we have here is a member of the Mechanicum, and they become a member of the Dark Mechanicum. So they would test and explore on anyone and anything in any way to get the end results that they want, regardless of the cost to other people's souls or even their own. Amazing. And if you wanted to play like an alternative, that would be the equivalent. So you got Traitor Guard there, which you're going to see in the Blackstone Fortress, the paint up that I've done. Traitor Knights, I've got one of these knocking around. I might bring it out at the end and we'll have a look at it. And Traitor Titans, I mean, that's just the worst. This picture doesn't do them justice. If you ever have a look, they're absolutely massive in comparison. I'll show you that. But anyway, moving on. So we have the Redemptor Dreadnought and how to paint, and we're going to use a full set of paints there, as you can see. And that's really good that they're focused in on that. And I will say I went ahead and kind of painted mine up. Sorry. The little one wanted to play with it, so I thought rather than let it get destroyed, let's get it painted up. So Abaddon Blacks, start off with the areas. Now, Lead Belcher, okay. We've got a Retributor armor for trimmings, Nullo, a standard. I think by now at this point you're kind of used to the setup and how to paint through. So you know that you tend to wash your particular items in, you know, your silvers for null and your agrax for your golds. But one thing I have noticed with this, and this is a Space Marine Ultramarine colour, they haven't base coated it blue, and they usually ask you to base coat it blue. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier about saving paint, and if you can paint directly onto plastic. I think even Games Workshop is showing you that you can. It might chip away, and one of the things that I tend to do to kind of stop it from chipping is just put a little bit of hairspray on it, so you can put it on the table, it won't chip as much, and it should be okay. Okay, here we go, continuing. So with Mechanica symbols, I don't tend to bother with these, you'll see it when I paint it up. I figured it would be worn away. And the Astro Granite, so rocking base. Here it says to utilize your paintbrush. I suggest if you are going to do that, make sure you use like an old brush or a cheap brush just to get that on the base. Or alternatively, kind of just get like one of those little scraping tools for clay and put it on there. Or even like a little coffee stirrer, that should do. And as you can see there, the layout, once it's all painted up. And if you remember to just go over the little wires, it can make such a difference. Such a difference. Gameplay. This is where this gets fun. Because clearly you want to use all of this weaponry. So you've got your battle set up. What you need is Redemptor Strike. Yeah, you're going to need a lot of enemies for this. They're not going to win. Anyway, continuing, the Redemptor talks about its abilities, how it suffers damage, and now we're looking at changing data sheets, which is good because a lot of vehicles or large creatures have like this damage table that they suffer, and as they start to suffer damage, they start to degrade, and you can see it spaced out there, and that's really handy to know. I mean, with that, you've pretty much got the initial book in your hand for gameplay, learn how to play 8th edition, apart from the FAQs. So let's have a look. So here we got the movement, and that works perfectly on the mat. You can see it fits nicely. I think I got one of my videos with the mat up, and you can see that all together. Got playthrough there, good. And you know I love my data sheets. So we've got the Redemptor Dreadnought there, all its capabilities. Remember to fire all of its weapons. I remember the first time I used one of these guys, for some reason I just selected one weapon, and it was the Onslaught Gatling cannon, and I just wanted to fire that, and that was it. And I was like, wait a minute, you got more shots? I was like, really? And I had to go back. As usual, the note for the Ultramarines there, or for the Marines. So we've got like a mission briefing here, so change of the storyline. And we're going to follow that out with a vehicle versus vehicle by the look of it. Yes. So we've got the Redemptor Dreadnought and the Malefic Blight Hauler, Poxwalker and 5 Plague Marines. And you can see here the zone set up quite far. Don't forget to use your terrain, and don't forget the effects of the terrain. So you've got deployments and your victory conditions. And what's good to see is they give you a determined amount of rounds for it to work. You've got your closing out info as usual, and we can have a look and see what we've got. So we've got another vehicle coming up soon, but before that, I'm getting all excited. Okay, let's go back. So issue 26, we've got another shade there, the Reckland Flesh Shade and more Abaddon Black. You're going to need that. This is interesting. We'll get to see how to use that, or how they choose to use it. But you can use it for multiple things. And issue 27 there, they're saying it's the first tank. Okay, I accept. They call it a tank. We'll leave it as is a tank. But yeah, that's fun. I mean, that closes out the previous issues. So let me get the model, and we'll have a look at it, and we'll go from there. I had so much fun painting this model. Just the look, the design, all the weaponry, and to add the special effects from the previous videos, brought it together nicely. Dropping it on an alien world took it to a next level. So whilst I was going through this, I remember thinking back to the initial leak by Foible Board Gaming, and really being worried that I would lose interest of the content of the magazine, knowing what was going to be in it. But actually, with the way that it was presented and lore info, I had a great time with it still, because I quite often look at the lore before I paint the model. And for me, I can see these Redemptor Dreadnoughts dropping from outer space as the first kind of line of war against any like Xenos or alien creatures when maybe taking over a planet, and they're burning their way through the chaff and shooting off all the like alien invaders or what have you. And these are the people you send first, followed by the Marines. So that really told its story, and that's what really made it fun for me. But anyway, thanks for the heads up. Let's get back to it. Well, and that ties together those two issues really nicely. And I've had fun. It did take a little bit of time to wait for the second issue to come through, and it's just one of those things where it's like the urgency, but it teaches you again patience, to take your time, and kind of in a strange way builds character, because I remember going back to being young and having to take that time just to wait before you get the next item, and it allowed you to appreciate it more, and you did actually treasure items more. But anyway, this has been Spect. If you've enjoyed, please make sure you're subscribed and send this to your like-minded friends. Either way, I've had fun. I hope you've enjoyed this time and you enjoy your hobby time. This has been Spect. PC out.